You know what else is a regular season award? The MVP.
There we go.
The MVP.
Load it up.
Ah, man. Now, this one was really what gave me the most consternation. And I will be honest with you. I went back and forth all weekend. I talked myself into all three guys. I talked myself out of all three guys. Here's what I landed on. Number one, my MVP for this season was Giannis. Number 2 was Joel Embiid. Number 3 was Jokic. Number 4 was Tatum. And number 5 was Donovan Mitchell. The Giannis thing is interesting because I don't think he's going to win, but I think he's the MVP this season. And I, the more I thought about it and the more I tried to talk myself out of it, I just couldn't do it. He's the MVP. He's the best player on the best team. Best win percentage of all three of these guys. And it's interesting because I thought it was going to be hard for me to vote for him because of games played. And then Jokic ended up playing 69 games. Joel ended up playing 68 games. And Giannis played 63. They're all in the ballpark of each other. Per minute scoring, Giannis, number 1. And I said this a couple weeks ago, 30, 10, and 5, over 50% shooting. Only Wilt has done that. And Giannis shot over 55. He's the first time in history he's ever done this. He had a historic season. 6 of the 7 previous times that a player has averaged 30, 10, and 5, they've won MVP. I don't think it'll be 7 out of 8, but for me, Giannis is the MVP. Jokic, for me, the Nuggets were 46 and 19, and then they played like shit for 20% of the season. They did. They played like shit.
Yep. In the time when they needed to not play like shit.
Yeah, and look, they wrapped up the number 1 seed, but I don't like how they approached the last month of the season. Defense got worse. They resorted to bad habits. 7 and 10 over the last 17. Jokic was 5 and 7 in those 12 games. I said this last week when I said I had a vote. I'm looking at the entirety of the season. I don't like how the Denver Nuggets finished the season. Joel's probably going to win this award. I don't buy the argument that he should win the award because the other 2 guys already have an MVP and we can't look back at this time period and say Joel never won one. I don't buy that. Either he deserves it or he doesn't. The reality is all 3 do. I just think Giannis deserves it a little bit more.
So why don't you buy this? Why don't you buy that argument? And I was thinking about this over the weekend. This is the question I would have about this particular thing. You think about any awards, think about like the Oscars, think about anything like this. Narrative always comes into play. So like,
but it's my vote.
Okay,
Narrative's not coming into play for my vote.
So narrative just doesn't matter to you.
No, it doesn't.
Do you think that you approach that differently than other players? Because a lot of guys have come out recently publicly. Jimmy said it, Dame said it, Steph said it, and said this about Joel. And I think a lot of this is because this particular reason where they're like, this is a Hall of Fame center who's been unbelievable for since he's been in the league. He deserves it. And they're not slighting, they're not talking shit about Jokic or Giannis.
Well, he deserves an MVP. Yeah. He deserves the MVP. He's going to win. I bet he's going to win the MVP.
Yeah.
But it's my vote.
Yeah.
And he is second in my MVP voting.
Yep.
He's 100. All 3 of these guys deserve an MVP this year. I think they've separated themselves from the rest of the NBA when we talk about MVP. I just think Giannis is the MVP. He's my MVP.
Yeah.
Okay. And Joel, I'm sorry. I know you're going to be pissed. I still love you. Okay.
Okay. I mean, it's an impossible choice because you can find stats, and we don't even have to, debate it right now. You can find a million stats where you can make the case for Joel or for Jokic. You made the case for Jokic already.
You can make the case for all of them. But here's what I went back to this. Bill said this on Twitter, and I appreciate how he said it. And this is how I when I found out I had a vote, I said, this is how I'm going to look at it. It's a snapshot of the season. It's a snapshot of the season.
Yeah.
The snapshot of this season is the Bucks were the best team in the NBA this year. And Giannis dominated.
Yep.
The snapshot of the season is that the Philadelphia 76ers had a better winning percentage when Joel didn't play than when he did play. Snapshot of the season is that Giannis, when he did play, the Bucks had close to a 75% win percentage. He had the best win percentage of these 3. That's the snapshot of the season for me. They all 3 deserve it.
So when he won in 2020, when Giannis won in 2020, the Bucks
I don't
had 46
care.
wins.
I don't care, though. That's the thing. People do this all the time, Tommy. I don't care. It is about this season. I don't care about the narrative last season. I don't care about the narrative the season before that. I don't care about the narrative in 2005. This season, Giannis is my MVP, and I'll stand by that. And I'll take all the hate from Joel.
Hey guys, it's JJ. If you're a basketball diehard like me, then you know there's always something spicy to talk about when it comes to the NBA. That's why I'm excited to play this week's episode of The Old Man and the Three Things for You. Normally, this show's available exclusively on Amazon Music, but I wanted to give you a preview of what it's about so you can join us every week. In the show, Tommy and I cover the hottest topics in the league, but without the outlandish takes. We unpack top stats, trends, and preview big games. I will also drop one of these every other week on this feed, so if you don't do it now, I'll keep reminding you to follow us on the Amazon Music app, where you can listen to this and all our content ad-free.